energy, that afternoon slump. Well, I am Carolina. I'm on our product team at Snap, looking after our AR product strategy and product marketing teams, and I'm so excited to have Yao with me, who's one of our amazing AR engineers. We thought that today we'd give you a little bit of an overview around our approach to AR shopping and the retail space, and of what we're doing overall from a product perspective, and then actually do an amazing kind of demo of some of our latest and greatest technology that we just launched for AR developers within the space. So that's a little bit of our, hopefully we'll have some time at the end for questions, and if not, we'll take it kind of outside. So just a brief introduction. I just wanted to cover kind of what we're doing within the AR space. Specifically, what are the core applications within retail that we're focused on and that we're really working with a lot of businesses on and developers. Two is why this is such an amazing opportunity. And the third one is really how. How can you actually execute and integrate some of these new commerce-related features? Okay, so when it comes to what types of use cases within this kind of industry we're thinking a lot about and we're seeing a lot of amazing development around, it's really around utility, around experience building, and then really around self-expression. So the bigger context within the retail space is it's actually one of the industries that's suffering from so many core challenges that we believe the camera and augmented reality are uniquely poised to solve. So many different people within the retail space are suffering from things like cart abandonment. Basically, when you're shopping online, you have really low confidence when buying. Is this going to look good on me? I get that it looks amazing on this model, but guess what? I'm not that model, so how will I know it's gonna look good on me? 40% of people are actually saying that the reason why they abandon their carts is because they just don't wanna have to deal with a return. On the other side of that, return rates are huge, 30 to 50% return rate online compared to 5 to 10% if you're in store. And even beyond that, thinking about other implications of things like returns, like environmental issues, like sustainability, because of the amount of fast fashion and returns that happen is a huge crippling issue. It's also very expensive for businesses as well. And the last kind of key piece is beyond even the purchase of items online, how do you really think about creating an ongoing relationship with people? The conversation doesn't end at purchase. It's actually the beginning of a relationship with the brand, but right now everything is so transactional and we're seeing things like loyalty at an all-time low. So these are some of the kind of context issues of where we think AR can uniquely solve. Now, when we think about where it can solve, I think two of the most important use cases we're thinking through is things like utility and things like experience building. Utility is really all about product visualization and try-on. Yao's gonna talk about some of our latest and greatest technology to really help bring this to accurate life. How can you visualize products and see what it looks like on you or in your space? How do you use things like accurate size and scaling? How do you use new technologies like ray tracing to actually make those items look very realistic? The second kind of core use case is all about experience. How do you actually build a relationship with somebody and using AR to storytell in a brand new way? Whether you are actually bringing an experience to multi-users using our connected lens and multi-user technology to bring two people around the world to shop together in a virtual store, like this example from American Eagle, or whether you're building experiences like the one on the right-hand side, which is actually showing how someone can scan that eyeshadow palette they have on their vanity table to get educational experiences for how do you actually use that product. And so it's well beyond just the practical of how does this look like on me to help me buy. It's actually how do I turn this into that next evolution of experiences. And then, of course, beyond utility and experience, it's really around this future of self-expression. Digital fashion and digital goods is an emerging area that we're so excited to see some incredible AR developers build with Snap's AR technology, whether that's a DressX, kind of focused on those issues like sustainability, or whether that's an Artifact with Nike, thinking about the future of things like sneakers. Why is this such a big opportunity? I think it comes down to two things: reach and value. That's why this is so important, is because the opportunity is huge to reach a massive audience. We started with driving camera adoption, then we started to drive AR adoption, and it's really driven a huge, massive scale of usage. There's now 250 million people who have virtually tried on products 5 billion times over the past year alone, and it's ultimately driving huge results for businesses. Whether they're seeing a 25% decrease in returns or a 119% increase in intent to go purchase because of this, That's really why this is so valuable, is because people actually want these experiences. And lastly, I'm going to turn it over to Yao to actually talk through some of our latest and greatest technologies within this space. We're really focused on new technologies and developer tools, new kind of back-end services for businesses and devs, as well as distribution cross-platform. So we'll talk through Lens Studio in a moment. But of course, our business tools that we just announced a lot of them over the past kind of few weeks at our Snap Partner Summit, which we're really excited about, integrating into commerce backends. And then lastly is, how do you actually build with Snap AR and distribute everywhere your customer is? Not just on Snapchat, but actually in your own application by integrating our SDK called Camera Kit, and then even experimenting with the future of wearables. And with that, I will hand it over to Yao.
Thank you, Carolina. Hey, everyone. It's really nice to meet you guys in person. It's been a while. With augmented reality, the shoppers can visualize, try on, and experience products before they purchasing that. It's a game changer for the business. And now here we have like 3D designers, artists, and developers with amazing skill set. We all want to create a shopping experience which can satisfy our customers. Snap AR is the right platform to empower you to create such experience. Here are some lenses from our partner. We support various verticals, such as glasses, shoes, dress, bags, and even jewelries. Snap AR takes care of the hardest parts, such as body tracking, word tracking, true sizing, and realistic rendering. So today we are going to focus on the AR try-on. So I'm going to show you how to create a shopping experience with Lens Studio. Now let's dive in. So first we're going to start with the asset creation.
You can use your favorite tools to create 3D models or modify any existing ones. Here is a pre-made dress in Blender. I'm gonna show you how to set up this model with Lens Studio step by step. This is a new project in Lens Studio. If you don't know how to create your own asset, you can also find some resources in the asset library. Click on the asset library button and search for try-on. Click on View All. Here, you can find a list of try-on assets. Now, let's import this fanny pack into our project. Click on the Import button to import FBX file.
Now let's move to the external body mesh. With external body mesh, it can deform the clothes to fit your body, and it can automatically attach to your tracked body.
To achieve this, we need to find the body mesh reference in the asset library. Let's import the asset. Save the project and import it into the Blender. We have options for A pose and T pose. We will use A pose for our dress. Once we import the body mesh, we can then transform the dress to fit to the body mesh. Don't forget to apply all transforms. We also want to modify the vertices to cover the body mesh. And try not to intersect the vertices with body mesh. Once you are done with all your modification, let's export the dress. Don't forget to check the selected objects and also apply transforms. Let's export FBX file into our project. With the pop-up window, we can import FBX file into Lens Studio. It is very easy to create an external body mesh in Lens Studio. In the Resources panel, create a full body mesh. Rename it to Full Body Mesh Dress. Let's drag the dress mesh to external mesh. And for the mesh pose, we are going to change it to A pose. We are going to use the proximity matching mode for the external mesh. Now let's add the dress to the scene. In the Objects panel, add a full body tracking. And add an update mesh. Drag the full body mesh dress to the render mesh visual component. Enable blend normals. Now we can see the dress is already tracked and fit to the body. We can change to a different preview. We can see the dress adapts to different body types. Now let's do the same for the sleeves and the fanny pack. Let's clean up the hierarchy with a new parent object and rename it dress. And rename the object name to fanny pack. Let's just use this slimmed version for the fanny pack. And rename the object name to fanny pack. Cool, now we have the fanny pack and the dress.
Next, we are going to introduce about the material editor. With material editor, we can actually apply different materials to the clothes.
The fanny pack asset comes with a material. Let's drag it to the render mesh visual component. And for the dress, we have fabric materials in the asset library. Let's import denim, lace, and gold to our project. Let's try the lace fabric. Looks pretty good. We can also modify the UV scale in the inspector. Let's also try the gold material. In the inspector, we can change the base color to blue. We can also enable the normal map and add the denim normal to it. Just to add some normal details. Don't forget to enable mid maps. To modify the normal UV scale, we can change the texture UV to transformed UV2. Then let's enable transformed UV2 and modify the scale to 4. Now let's modify the metallic and the roughness of the material to make it more like a fabric. To achieve more advanced material effect, you can also use material editor.
So next part, we are going to introduce the occluder. On the left, you can see the dress is completely in front of the body, but with the right occluders, we can see the arms are in front of the dress.
Without occluder, we can see the digital dress is completely in front of the body. Let's create a new full body mesh in the resources panel. as well as a new occluder material. To add the occluder to the scene, we're going to create a new empty mesh. Drag the occluder to the material and also full body mesh to the mesh. Rename the object to occluder. Now we can see the arms are in front of the dress with the right occlusion. One more tips for the occluder material. We can change the color mode from back to front, and this will achieve better visual effects.
Lens Studio also supports light estimation to make your dress and asset more realistic.
It is also very easy to add light estimation in Lens Studio. Let's find the environment map in the Objects panel. Enable the dynamic environment map. Let's add the device camera texture as the input. We can also increase the exposure parameter for better visual result.
So the dress is already look pretty good and fit to the body, but what else we can do? We can even add clothes simulation to it to make it dynamic and react to your body movement.
We have a dynamic dress asset in the asset library. Let's find it and import it into our own project. Let's drag the asset under the main camera and disable our dress. We can see the setup for the dynamic yellow dress. There are two different ways to make the dress dynamic. You can use vertex painting to customize the static and dynamic parts for the dress. You can also use the automatic vertex controller. Let's use the automatic version for our new dress. Let's replace the mesh source to our own dress model in the clothes component. We can see the dress falling down. This is because the maximum distance in the external body mesh is not properly set up. Let's increase the number. Now we can see the dress is already dynamic and tracked to the body. We can change other clothes simulation settings in the clothes component. We can decrease the iterations to improve the performance and change the band mode to isometric. We can also change other settings such as stretch stiffness and band stiffness, even the air friction for the dress. Let's also replace the dress material with the one we just created. And move the dress sleeves under the new full body tracking to make it work with the dynamic dress. Let's clean up the hierarchy a little bit. Also move the fanny pack and delete the old full body tracking.
We can also add body colliders. So Lens Studio now is supporting the full physics engine. We can use the physical colliders to collide with the clothes mesh.
We have the full body colliders guide in the Objects panel. Let's click on the guide's object and enable Show Colliders. We can now see the full body colliders. We can use it to collide with our clothes mesh. In the clothes component, we can find Enable Colliders checkbox. Here for the dress, we are using the legs colliders. If we disable the checkbox, we can see the dress is not collide with the legs anymore. We can also switch to a different preview. We can see the guy is kicking the dress with dance movement.
So shopping is all about trying different stuff and try different sizes, try different colors. Let's now add interactions to this lens. The first is gesture. We can swipe through the screen and changing the dress.
Let's find the 3D UI carousel asset in the asset library. Import it into our project. Drag it under the main camera. With this asset, we can detect the swipe gesture and change to different box. Let's change the preview to a static image so we can focus on the interaction. Now, let's make it work with our clothes. Check carousel setting. We are going to disable use camera screen space. We want to make the carousel relative to the body tracking instead of screen. And also reset the transform. Let's also reset the scale and all angles. Now let's replace the box with our dress. And also put a fanny pack under it. We also need to hide other icons, so only have one clothes at each time. Let's also add one more asset. This is a puffer from our partner, DressX. It is also using the external body mesh. Now we have 3 different assets we can swipe through. If we are pretty far from the phone, we can also use other ways to change the clothes. Let's find the head tilt asset in the asset library. Import it into our project. Drag it under the main camera. With the tilt head script, instead of trigger the functions in the example script, we are going to trigger the functions in the carousel script. In the carousel script, we have set previous function and set next function. Let's link it with the head tilt script. Let's also delete example object. If I switch to webcam preview, I can then tilt my head to change clothes.
And what else we can add to this shopping experience? We can also use voice to trigger different colors and effects.
To enable the voice interaction, we can import the system voice command asset from asset library. We need to create an orthographic camera for this asset. Let's drag the asset under the camera. This asset comes with an info card. Let's delete it for now. With the speech recognition helper script, we can have nice transcription text. Let's disable it for now and enable keyword detection. We can trigger different visual effects with keyword detection. Let's say we want to make the color of the dress red with keyword red. Let's modify the keyword snap to red. We then can add the alias for the keyword red. It is very easy to trigger visual effects with keyword detection. Let's enable Send Triggers checkbox. We are going to add a new behavior script. With behavior script, you can trigger different effects without writing any code. Since we are going to trigger the behavior script with keyword detection, let's set the trigger to none. And for the response, we are going to set color red to our gold material. We also need to link the behavior script with the keyword detection. With the microphone button enabled, we can now say make it red. And click on the Send to Snapchat button. And you will see a pop-up in the Snapchat application. Tap again to enable voice. Now you can tilt your head to change clothes. You can also use voice to make dress red. You can also say start recording. Then send it to a friend.
Thank you. As you can see, you don't have to write a single line of code to create such experience with Lens Studio. It's super easy to achieve all the effects. A year ago, we only have a bandana, but now we can collaborate with our communities, and people are building all those amazing lenses with us. So we're looking forward to hear you what you can make. Here are some useful resources. Thank you.